A family in the Dominican Republic exhumed their grandmother nearly a decade after her burial, only to find the corpse perfectly preserved. When Margarita Rosario was dug up at La Colonia Cemetery in Jarabacoa, she was found to still have a full head of hair, some skin, and enough bones to be able to stand with little support. This footage was shot outside the graveyard and shows a man holding the corpse up while a woman dresses her in a white nightgown. A small group crowded to watch the aftermath of the exhumation. Others were not pleased the family disturbed their grandmother's rest. The Toraja people of Indonesia have one of the most unusual funerary customs in the world, practiced on the island of Sulawesi. Instead of saying goodbye, they continue to care for their deceased loved ones as if they were still alive. The dead are dressed in fine clothes, laid in bed, and even fed meals by family members. For the Toraja, death is not the end. It's simply the beginning of a different kind of presence.
Discover the unbelievable cemeteries of China where instead of soil, people rest beneath glass. Imagine witnessing the transformation from flesh to bone right before your eyes. Not just one or two, but thousands of skeletons laid out for all to see. It's a haunting yet mesmerizing sight, designed so families can visit daily and watch their loved ones become part of the earth.
Deep in the misty mountains of the northern Philippines, the Igorot tribe, particularly the people of Sagada, have practiced a unique funerary tradition for centuries. Instead of burying their dead underground, they hang coffins on cliff sides. The Igorot people believe that the higher the body, the closer the soul is to heaven. Elevation is spiritual. It brings the deceased nearer to the ancestral spirits. Some coffins are hundreds of years old, weathered by time but still visible. Perhaps one of the most unsettling ways humans have honored the dead is through a ritual known as endocannibalism. The practice was found among tribes in Papua New Guinea, the Amazon, and parts of Melanesia. This is the act of consuming the flesh of a deceased family member or tribe member, not out of violence, but out of love, respect, and spiritual belief. In May 2021, a TikTok clip began circulating rapidly, showing a woman in an alarming state as she wandered the streets of Seattle. She appeared to be in intense distress, crying, screaming, covered in blood, and seemingly desperate for help.
You want to tell us what's going on? Hey. What is your name?
I think someone did that to her. She got away like this is super bizarre. Yeah.
It's not real blood either. That's all like either fake blood or it's sticky, like a glue.
Okay.
Who's what?
She's what now?
She's covered in head to toe with like, looks like zombie makeup, like blood, stuff all over her face. I don't think she did it for herself. It looks like either she's got makeup over her hair or hair ripped out.
Police were left bewildered. There were no visible injuries, just makeup, what appeared to be fake blood, and an incoherent woman. Was she a victim of extreme abuse, drugs? Was she suffering from a mental illness? The police got finally a name. The strange woman's name was Kimberly Kasai. After over a year of searching for answers to the Seattle zombie woman incident, a woman named Rebecca has cracked the case. Rebecca found a social media page for a woman by the name of Kimberly Kasai. Apparently, Cassie's zombie incident was actually some sort of political protest.
Tragedy at a stop on the nationwide tour of the supposedly possessed Annabelle doll. One of the doll's handlers found dead in his hotel room at the age of 54.
Annabelle's next stop, guys. Augusta, Maine.
Dan Rivera, a U.S. Army veteran, was on his sold-out Devils on the Run tour in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, New England Society for Psychic Research, or NESPR, where he was the lead investigator. His exact cause of death remains unclear. Annabelle, a Raggedy Ann doll, was tied to a series of supposed hauntings in 1970 after being given to a Connecticut nursing student named Donna. According to Ed and Lorraine Warren, the doll physically lifted its own arms, followed people around the apartment, and would display other frightening and malicious behavior. They even claimed that Annabelle had stabbed a police officer and caused a car crash involving a priest. Perhaps that's why the allegedly possessed doll's case reads, "Warning, positively do not open." A psychic medium claimed the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a dead 6-year-old girl called Annabelle. The Warrens said it was demonically possessed and moved the doll to their museum in Connecticut. After Ed's death in 2006 and Lorraine's in 2019, the Warrens Occult Museum and the NESPR have been maintained in Connecticut, although the museum has been closed to the public due to zoning issues. Instead, they have toured around the U.S. in recent years.
So the question remains, was it coincidence or Annabelle's power at work? What do you think killed Don Rivera? Natural causes or something supernatural? Let me know in the comments.
Good morning. Trigger warning. I am going to show a coffin being charged into a cremator. This is something that I said I would do so that people could see a single cremation chamber. They could see that the coffin is charged complete with the deceased person in it, with the handle still on it. I have permission to do this, but I thought it would be a really good opportunity to myth bust. So, thank you, Nick. This is what happens at a crematorium. A single chamber. Coffin incomplete. And it is as simple as that. I hope that answers a lot of questions.
Some people want peace after death, others want to make a statement.
In 1893, a man in the United States was buried in a specially prepared grave. Above the grave, there was a transparent glass panel. For many years, people could look through this glass window and see his face. He chose to be buried this way because during his life, he had a persistent fear of being mistakenly declared dead. Although such a mistake seems impossible by today's standards, before the advent of modern medicine, this fear was not entirely unreasonable. Additionally, as a precaution, he held a rope in his hand, which extended from inside the grave to a bell outside. If he were mistakenly buried alive, he could pull the rope to ring the bell and alert the outside world for help. However, as time passed, dust and moisture covered the glass, eventually obscuring him and his fears, leaving them buried in the sands of history. If it were you, would you want to be buried in this way?
In the end, we all go, but the way we go says a lot about us. Cremation or traditional burial, what would you want for your final goodbye? In East Java, Indonesia, a man named David Intriato explores an abandoned school that he suspects might be haunted. And he has a very good reason to believe that. The school sits right next to an old graveyard, a possible hotspot for strange and unexplained activity. As David investigates, a chair suddenly falls off a table on its own.
Sumpah ini kalau kakiku seperti biasa guys ya. Kalau nggak bisa ditahan untuk ke soal keder-keder. Astagfirullahaladzim. Ya ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Malaka sumtu wa bika amantu ala rizkika aftardu birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.
Moments later, another chair slides across the floor and eerily rights itself back onto all four legs, with no visible force. Just minutes later, a chilling figure floats past a window, leaving David frozen in fear. If I had seen that with my own eyes, I'd probably have passed out on the spot. What would you do in that situation?
Greg and I lead normal lives, and we go about our life the same way that everyone else does. We just happen to be caretakers for very strange objects.
The way that we got started collecting cursed objects was complete accident. It wasn't something that we had set out to do. Never would have imagined myself doing this. We were just interested in general weirdness. My wife and I investigate all manner of high strangeness. And so anytime anyone had a problem with an artifact, they would come to us and say, I don't know what to do with this. This thing is affecting my life. Will you just take it off my hands? It'd be easier to just give it to you and let you deal with it. So we built up this collection of very bizarre things. This is the cursed deer skull. We drove down to Nashville to pick up from a woman who saw this in an antique store and took it back to her office, and almost immediately her employees started getting sick. One of her employees was hit by a car, and then the wall that this was hanging on actually fell down and took half of the building with it.
The crone really is the definition of kind of a cursed object. It is a carved statue of a woman. Someone at some point in time took this object and attached the noose and the nails.
This guy came all the way from Canada to come and see the crone. He begged us to take it out of the box. Almost immediately, his eyes roll up in the back of his head and he starts to bleed from his mouth. And he has a violent seizure and he has to be taken out by the paramedics. And that's when Dana and I looked at each other and we said, we have to do something about this.
Something fucking creepy happened when I got home. I was driving down the street, and my daughter's bedroom light is on. So I'm like, that's weird because she's at her dad's house for a couple nights. She's not home. So I park my car right over here, and when I park my car, I see her bedroom curtains are also opened a bit. So now I'm freaked out, right? And my doors were locked. But my house was built in like 1910. So I was like, I hope it's a fucking ghost and someone didn't, break in or something. So I have to actually go in my house right now and I'm recording it because I'm scared. Alright, so here we go. I'm like shaking right now. Like my hormones are, like my adrenaline is going again. Like I have to go up my creepy dark stairs. None of the lights are on upstairs. This is not fun. And you know I've been hearing weird shit in the attic, bro. Oh, fucking spooky. That's her room. Just turn the light on. I don't know which way I should point the camera. Bro, I'm freaked out. I'm gonna go in my bedroom first. Turning the light on in here. Ah! Why isn't it turning on? Okay. This shit's scary. Dude, I don't want to go in there. Everything is like normal in here. But her painting fell. This painting she made was hanging on the wall and that fell. Her chair that belongs to her desk is here, but that just might be normal. Like maybe she was playing with it. I'm gonna look in her closet. Dude. Everything's normal. I'm gonna shut her light off. Like the LED lights are on in my other daughter's room and those always go on. Dude, it was fucking creepy. I'm looking behind the shower curtain. Ha! Nothing there. Weird. Like that light was off last night. I was here in my house sleeping. I hate when that light is on because if I close my door and the light is on, it shines through this crack. It's gotta be a fucking ghost. Like my house was built in like 1906, not 1910, 1906. I'm so fucking scared right now. It's currently 1 a.m. and my boyfriend is at work. It's just me and my son. And hold on. I just heard keys. I just heard keys open my door. So I'm thinking he might have come home early. He don't supposed to get off till the morning. So I hear movement, I hear jiggling, I hear keys. And I hear movement in the living room. Now my son's room is across from our room. And we have motion lights in there for him. So when he wake up at night, in case he crawl out the bed. I'm about to show y'all. Completely dark. You have to step in his room to activate the motion light, right? There's 2 of them. Which if I cut off my bathroom light, I can see that light on from my room, right? Ooh, y'all. So I'm thinking he went in there to check on the baby because he do that. He always come in the house no matter what time it is and he check on him first. So, hold on, my baby. After a good, maybe like 5 minutes, I don't hear him moving no more. So I'm like, damn, is he gonna come in the room? Like, you know, like me and the baby in the room. I know he didn't see the baby was in his bed because I got him out and I put him in bed with me because sometimes I don't like sleeping by myself. This apartment is kind of weird. We just moved here a few months ago and it's just always been like little shit. Like, that's another story though. But so I fucking get up. I get up and I go out here. And ain't nobody here, y'all. There's nobody here. There's nobody here. I turned all the lights. I'm walking around the house. There's nobody fucking here. How can motion lights come on without motion? I heard keys. I heard movement in my living room. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Like, I heard that shit. Clear as day. Clear as fucking day. Not a dream. And there's nobody fucking here but me and my son. Oh my God.
What scares you the most? Stay tuned for the next one coming next week. Thanks for watching.